Hello guys, welcome back to our anime moment. Guys, please like the video and subscribe to my channel. Today is explanation of Renegade Immortal episode number 102 based on novel. So let's start. Wang Lin looked towards Sichuan. Sichuan's eyes were filled with joy. With a smile he said, "Good, this old man has picked his body. Wang Lin, follow me to the North Pole. That is where the body I want is located." With that, he began flying. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding. The mosquito let out a roar and appeared before Wang Lin. He jumped onto the mosquito's back, sat down, and followed Sichuan. Sichuan turned around to look at the mosquito. His eyes lit up as he said, "What kind of beast is that? Where did you find it? This old man is going to go catch one to play around with." The mosquito has always been tyrannical, but after feeling the aura form Sichuan, it let out a few hums and backed away from him. Sichuan stared at the mosquito beast for a while. In a flash, he appeared beside Wang Lin on the back of the mosquito and said, "What are you running for? I'm not going to eat you." The mosquito's body trembled as it looked pleadingly at Wang Lin. Wang Lin let out a faint smile as he rubbed the mosquito's large head. He took out a piece of jade and after imprinting some information on it, he handed it to Sichuan. "If you go there, you can catch as many mosquito beasts as you want." Sichuan took the jade. After he scanned it, his expression immediately changed. He awkwardly said, "Never mind. I don't want one anymore." The jade Wang Lin gave him contained information on the planet where the ancient god found a large amount of mosquito beasts. Even with Sichuan's pride, his heart trembled when he saw the information in the jade. He then looked at the mosquito beast with a strange expression. Sichuan let out a mischievous smile and said, "Wang Lin, how about we make a deal? Once I have a body, lend me the mosquito to study for a while. I'll only study it and not harm its life." "Not possible." Wang Lin refused without any hesitation. Sichuan panicked and said, "I really won't kill it. It might become even stronger." "Not possible." Wang Lin shook his head. Sichuan's eyes widened as he stared at Wang Lin and shouted, "Little brat, no one dares to refuse this old man. Back then this old man wanted the first generation's concubine and then I just stole her from him. As long as I want it, no one can refuse me. Are you going to give it to me? If not, I'll kill you with one slap, you unfilial kid." Wang Lin stared at Sichuan. He didn't say a word but silently watched him. Shortly after, Sichuan warily smiled and said, "How did I end up with someone like you? When you were still a kid it was me who adjusted your body so you could cultivate. And it was also me who gave you the idea to steal someone's foundation. And I also saved you many times. Did you forget about the time when the Ting family little brat chased you? Also, outside the Juming Valley I risked my life to save you and this is how you treat me. I'm a pitiful old man, I don't have many desires, I just wanted to borrow the mosquito to study." Wang Lin felt his head start to ache. If Sichuan had continued to play it tough, he would be able to ignore it, but now every word Sichuan was saying was landing on his heart. After a while, Wang Lin let out a helpless smile and said, "Fine, I'll lend it to you, I'll lend it to you." Sichuan's expression suddenly changed to an arrogant one and he laughed. "Good, this is more like the person this old man picked." With that, he looked toward the mosquito and revealed a creepy smile. The mosquito's body trembled and it screamed. That smile almost caused it to fall from the sky. As they flew, Wang Lin pondered a bit and asked, "Sichu, do you know the Ji realm?" Sichuan's expression became serious as he said, "The Ji Dao is the Ji of the three realms." "Why are you asking this?" Wang Lin looked at Sichuan. In this world, aside from Li Muwen, the only other person he could completely trust was Sichuan. Wang Lin slapped his bag of holding and a blob of white light appeared. This white light gave off a pressure like divine retribution. Although this pressure wasn't dangerous to Wang Lin, it could kill any nascent soul cultivator that touches it. Sichuan exclaimed in surprise. He picked up the white light, took a closer look, and his expression immediately changed greatly. His divine sense immediately spread out to check their surroundings before he threw the white light toward Wang Lin's bag. He sent the white light through Wang Lin's divine sense and directly into the bag. Sichuan exclaimed, "Why do you have the Ji realm?" Wang Lin slowly said, "Back in the Juming Valley, a sliver of this Ji realm appeared in my body. You were still sleeping then, so you didn't see it. Then my body was destroyed and you saved my soul before going back to sleep again. In the foreign battleground, my G realm reached its completion. The G realm is a very tyrannical substance. I don't have much information on it, but I know that the Cultivation Alliance is always looking for G realm cultivators. Whenever they find someone that has it, they kill them. You have to remember to never show it to anyone, especially the current Suzaku. Sichuan's expression was very serious. Wang Lin nodded. He pondered a bit and then said, I suspect this G realm has something to do with your underworld ascension cultivation method. Sichuan was startled. He rubbed his chin and said, you might have a point, but there are some unknown variables at play here, because then I would also have the G realm. As far as I know, the chances of the G realm appearing are simply too low. Also, it is too difficult to cultivate. The fact that you were able to remove it from your body without being affected is already very rare. Sichuan looked at Wang Lin with appreciation in his eyes. Sichu, I heard from someone that the cultivation planet crystal can help the G realm break through its limitations. Is that true? What exactly is the cultivation planet crystal? Wang Lin's eyes lit up as he finally asked the question he had been holding back for hundreds of years. You even know about the cultivation planet crystal? Sichuan revealed a complex expression before letting out a sigh and saying, the cultivation planet crystal, that object is not a good thing, but if you want to leave this planet, you really do have to obtain it or else it could cause problems in the future. The cultivation planet crystal is the most vicious thing the Cultivation Alliance uses to control a cultivation planet. Sichuan was about to continue speaking when he suddenly looked into the distance and said, we'll talk about this later. Right now there are Forsaken Immortal clan members before us that are giving offerings to their ancestral spirit. Let me think. I remember the first generation Suzaku studying a spell that could use the ancestral spirit to absorb some of the mysterious power. I'm getting old and my memory is getting worse. I think this is correct. Wang Lin, give me a celestial jade. As Wang Lin looked into the distance, he slapped the other bag of holding, took out a celestial jade, and handed it to Sichuan. Sichuan took the celestial jade and in one breath of time sucked it dry to the point that it shattered. His eyes were filled with celestial spiritual energy as he said, I remember the first generation Suzaku saying that this spell had a fatal weakness. Although that weakness is kind of annoying for me right now, I should be able to avoid it. Wang Lin, wait for me here. I'll be right back. With that, he disappeared. When Sichuan appeared and scared Zhuqiuzi away, all of the ascendant cultivators felt that powerful aura. A white-robed old man appeared in the sky east of the country of Suzaku. He was the only ascendant cultivator of the Heavenly Jade sect, Chu Yunfei. At this moment, his expression was unsettled. After a while, he let out a sigh and said, a very powerful aura. He slightly shook his head. As he looked to the east, his eyes became cold. Behind him was several dozen cultivators. Most of them were at the soul formation stage and only 3 of them were at the soul transformation stage. Behind these people were more than 100 nascent soul cultivators. In the sky south of the continent of Suzaku was a cultivation army of more than 100 cultivators that was flying south. The person at the front was a middle-aged man. He was the Shattering Earth sect's ascendant cultivator. He bitterly smiled and said, unlucky for me to get mixed into such a messy war period. After Zhuqiuzi returned to Mount Suzaku, he rested for a bit before quickly leaving again. This time his target was in the western side of the Suzaku continent. In the black clouds on the eastern edge of the Suzaku continent, the 5th ancestor gloomily withdrew his gaze. The Corpse Sect Elder Sima with his soul transformation cultivation couldn't detect the change that occurred when Sichuan appeared, but when he saw this 5th ancestor's expression become ugly, he couldn't help but be surprised. He was just about to probe for information when the 5th ancestor waved his sleeves and said, Elder Sima, let's start. Sima's eyes lit up and he laughed. Good, the reason I came here was to deliver this corpse. It could make your Forsaken Immortal clan ancestor spirit tree flourish even more. With that, he turned around to look at the 2 corpse deacons behind him. Without a word the 2 deacons got off the coffin and began to form seals. Strands of spiritual energy flew from them and landed on the coffin. Shortly after, the 2 of them released a mysterious and ghostly light from their bodies and shouted, open. The sound of 2 pieces of wood scraping each other filled the air as the wooden lid of the coffin slowly moved to create an opening. The opening got bigger and bigger. Black gas came from inside along with the stench of rotting flesh. The 5th ancestor's gaze was calm as he looked at the coffin. However, the 3 8-leaf shamans behind him were very nervous and secretly on guard. Rise, the 2 corpse deacons shouted together once more. The lid was suddenly pushed aside by an invisible hand and it smashed into the ground. At this moment, the black gas became even more dense as more of it escaped from the coffin and seemed to want to surround the entire coffin. The Forsaken Immortal Clan 5th Ancestor coldly said, "This is the corpse you guys were talking about?" Elder Sima let out a mischievous smile and said, "5th Ancestor, don't blame me, the orders came from above and the corpse was delivered from above too. I don't have the right to make any decisions." However, on planet Suzaku, there aren't many soul transformation giant demon clan corpses. This one was transferred from another planet. The other 4 corpses should have been delivered to their locations already. The 5th Ancestor remained quiet but slightly frowned. At this moment, the 2 corpse deacons' hands formed seals even faster and faster. Then they coughed out blood, but the blood didn't land on the coffin, it formed 2 blood people. The 2 blood people charged directly into the coffin. A large corpse floated out from the coffin accompanied by a lot of scraping sounds. This corpse was more than 100 feet tall and was rotting. There were parts where you could see the white bones. Some giant maggots were still moving inside the body, making it look very disgusting. However, the head of the corpse kept in really good condition, especially between the eyebrows where the purple axe was very noticeable. Just at this moment, a calm voice came from the distance. "Forsaken Immortal Clan 5th Ancestor, this old man Chu Yunfei is here to do battle with you." The moment this voice reached them, an earth-shattering bang came from outside the black cloud. Soon after, a powerful pressure appeared outside of the black cloud and shattered it. 10,000 feet away stood the Heavenly Jade Sect's Ascendant Cultivator whose eyes were like lightning. Behind him was a large amount of cultivators with cold gazes and eyes filled with killing intent. The 5th Ancestor's eyes became cold as he waved his right hand and said, "Kill." With that one word, all of the Forsaken Immortal Clan members charged out and a battle began. Chu Yunfei arrived beside the coffin, hit it with his palm, and said, "Corpse Sect, you guys are courting death." The Forsaken Immortal Clan 5th Ancestor reached out and pulled the giant corpse toward where the clan members were giving their offerings before Chu Yunfei's hand could land on it. With a bang, the large corpse landed on the ground, creating a shockwave that kicked up the dust on the ground. The coffin was turned to dust by Chu Yunfei's palm. The 5th Ancestor quickly said, "Activate the reincarnation tree." Then he quickly charged toward Chu Yunfei and waved his hand. Black clouds quickly came and surrounded him and Chu Yunfei. There were flashes of light coming out from the inside the black cloud as well as shock waves due to celestial spiritual energy being used. Anyone who got caught in the shockwaves was immediately turned to dust. After the 5th Ancestor charged out, one of the elders quickly jumped over the clan members and landed on the large corpse. He didn't seem to mind the maggots on the body as his right hand reached out and a ball of golden light the size of his fist appeared in his hand. At this moment, one of the mid-stage soul transformation cultivator's eyes lit up and he got around the person he was fighting before charging toward the person with the golden light. He shouted, "Drop that golden light!" Then he waved his hand and a flying sword flew out. The 8-leaf shaman suddenly raised his head to look at the middle-aged man that was charging at him. Without any hesitation, he pressed the golden light to the giant corpse's chest. The golden light flashed as the flying sword went through the chest of the 8-leaf shaman. The 8-leaf shaman's face was deathly pale, but he continued to press the golden light into the chest of the corpse. Then he let out a laugh and wiped the wound on his chest. He licked the blood from his fingers and quickly charged out to battle the middle-aged man. The golden glow on the corpse of the giant demon clan corpse became bright and brighter. Chu Yunzi, who was fighting the 5th Ancestor, frowned as he backed up and shouted, "Destroy that giant demon clan corpse." The surrounding cultivators all charged toward the corpse. However, the Forsaken Immortal Clan members threw themselves in the way as they didn't care about their lives. Some were even willing to blow themselves up to stop the cultivators from getting in. The golden glow became brighter and brighter. At this moment, the corpse of the giant demon clan corpse began to shrink. The golden light was like a plant on the earth, growing as it sucked nutrients from the ground. This process lasted for 10 breaths of time before the giant demon clan corpse was drained of all energy and then turned to dust. Chu Yunfei charged out from the black cloud toward the golden glow. The 5th Ancestor sneered inside the black cloud and didn't attempt to stop him. When Chu Yunfei arrived, the golden glow suddenly shattered and a 1,000-foot-tall reincarnation tree appeared. A powerful shockwave spread from it and completely covered the entire eastern part of planet Suzaku. Chu Yunfei's expression changed greatly as he quickly backed up. However, he was hit by the shockwave, so blood seeped out from the corner of his mouth. Fifth Ancestor sneered as he charged toward Chu Yunfei. Chu Yunfei's eyes lit up as he decided to not fight again. He charged out of this place while shouting, "Retreat!" The cultivators that were fighting with the Forsaken Immortal clan all sighed and quickly retreated. The Forsaken Immortal clan members were about to chase when the Fifth Ancestor said, "Don't chase, protect the reincarnation ancestral spirit tree." Elder Sima, who hadn't acted at all, looked at the reincarnation tree with a mysterious light in his eyes. He said, "According to the deal between the two of us, where is the item?" The Fifth Ancestor pondered a bit before pointing at his brow. Then a tattoo the size of his palm flew out from between his eyebrows. This tattoo was very complicated, just looking at it would make your eyes spin. However, it contained a hint of a very primal and destructive power. This tattoo is one of the tattoos passed by down the ancestors. When I reached the 9-leaf stage, I completed it. With that, he waved his hand and the tattoo flew toward Elder Sima. Elder Sima's expression became serious as he slapped his bag of holding and took out a jade box. This box didn't give off spiritual energy but celestial spiritual energy, and it was covered with powerful restrictions. He carefully placed the tattoo inside the jade box before letting out a sigh of relief and putting the box in his bag. He then laughed and said, "Fifth Ancestor sure is decisive. I hope the other ancestors do the same. Since my Forsaken Immortal clan made a promise to your Corpse Sect, we won't back out on our side of the agreement." The Fifth Ancestor coldly looked at Elder Sima. As Sima laughed, his eyes lit up and he suddenly said, "I'll pass on a message from my Corpse Sect master. In my Corpse Sect, we still have a giant demon clan corpse who once cut down many of your 9-leaf shamans. His body has already reached the mid-stage of Ascendant. If you are interested, you can contact us at any time." After saying that, he didn't even wait for a response before quickly leaving. The 2 corpse deacons quickly followed and the 3 of them disappeared from the black cloud. The same scene happened in the north, south, and west edges of the Suzaku continent as well. Unfortunately, aside from Zhu Zi, who successfully destroyed the reincarnation tree in the west, the south and east failed. However, a strange scene unfolded at the northern tree. Sichuan's figure moved like a ghost and silently entered the black fog. No one noticed him arrive, not even the 4th Ancestor who was in charge of this place. The moment the reincarnation ancestral spirit tree started growing, Sichuan went inside it and became like a parasite. He absorbed all of the nutrients meant for the tree, causing the very rare reincarnation ancestral spirit tree sprout to collapse. This strange scene caused all of the Forsaken Immortal clan members to be stunned. The furious 4th Ancestor had to sacrifice tattoos to finally find Sichuan. Sichuan laughed arrogantly at the 4th Ancestor and disappeared, leaving behind only a voice in the wind. "Damn, that was nasty. If I knew it was this nasty, I wouldn't have eaten it." The Forsaken Immortal clan 4th Ancestor's hair turned white and his eyes were so bloodshot that blood was about to drip out. He let out a roar as he charged out and chased after Sichuan. Sichuan hadn't just devoured a reincarnation tree but an ancestral spirit. This was one of the 5 ancestral spirits that the Forsaken Immortal clan spent tens of thousands of years nurturing. Once an ancestral spirit has grown and then is combined with a special spell, it can call upon a spirit body from the void. The spirit body will then fuse with the ancestral spirit to create a 10-leaf shaman. However, an ancestral spirit was just devoured right under his nose. His head was filled with rage and his anger had already reached its limit. "I'm going to kill you," the 4th Ancestor shouted as he chased after Sichuan like crazy. Sichuan was escaping very quickly as he laughed. The first generation Suzaku's method is a bit shameless, but this old man likes it. When this old man has a body, I can teach it to Wang Lin and the 2 of us can both devour the ancestral spirits. Although I'm afraid that with Wang Lin's current cultivation level, he can't withstand it. "I will kill you." A fierce roar from someone whose heart seemed to have been torn came from behind Sichuan. The hatred coming from the roar behind Sichuan couldn't be described in words. Wang Lin had already heard the roar from the distance. He immediately put away the mosquito beast and quickly flew off to the side instead of waiting for Sichuan in one place. When Sichuan's divine sense spread out, he found Wang Lin and teleported to him. He appeared beside Wang Lin and quickly said, "You're too slow, I'll carry you. There is a crazy dog chasing after us. Once this old man has a body and has digested the power from the ancestral spirit, I'll definitely boil that little crazy dog." With that, he grabbed Wang Lin and quickly flew off. Sichuan's speed was very quick. In the blink of an eye, he and Wang Lin had left the Suzaku continent and were on their way to the North Pole. The forsaken immortal clan fourth ancestor seemed to have his heart set on chasing after Sichuan. As Sichuan flew, he showed no fear at all. He would often slow down to allow that fourth ancestor to catch up. This old man has devoured their ancestral spirit, and then, after I fuse with that body, I'll devour this little crazy dog too. This should reduce the recovery time by a lot. I will benefit personally and wipe out a shaman that is similar in power to an ascendant cultivator, so it can be said that I didn't forget the first-generation Suzaku's kindness. Sichuan laughed. The little northern flame land is at the extreme north of the planet. It is where Shuiyu used to be located. The ice here has never melted ever since cultivators came to this planet. The cold wind howls all day and the land is filled with ice. From a distance one can see a cloud of dark blue fog that would float around the area. Wherever this fog goes, everything with life will die. This cold fog is called the Nine-Leaf Fog. This mysterious natural power only appears in extremely cold places. Aside from destroying everything, the Nine-Leaf Fog has another effect, which is to suck in what it can't absorb and slowly refine it. The little northern flame land is very large. When Shuiyu was here, they could only explore 1/3 of the land before they weren't able to go in any further, so they ended up building their country on the border of this region. However, some of the powerful cultivators knew that at the center of the little northern flame land was a field of red ice. The ice there wasn't cold but flames. This is a very occurrence, fire that exists in ice forms a power that can amaze people. Thus, the cultivators on planet Suzaku named this place the Little Northern Flame Land. There are some ancient restrictions in this land that have existed for a long time. The Nine-Leaf Fog is one of those. There is also the blood flame restriction. It has no effect on things without blood, but if anything with blood gets hit by the light, their blood will start boiling and then they will die within 10 seconds. Aside from those, there is also the ice that can absorb divine sense. This ice makes divine sense constantly weaken when the two come into contact. At this moment, in the depths of the little northern flame land lied the body of a boy who was covered by the Nine-Leaf Fog. The boy was very handsome, but he had a struggling expression. He would occasionally open his mouth to spit out a strand of black gas that would push the Nine-Leaf Fog away. However, the moment the Nine-Leaf Fog was pushed away, it would come back and slowly refine the boy. This boy was the demonic child that Corpse Sect head Elder Sun Tai had released against the giant demon clan ancestor. This demonic child was very strange. Back then, the giant demon clan ancestor's body was destroyed by it. Then the giant demon clan ancestor was forced to escape with his origin soul and in the end used this place to trap the demonic child. If it wasn't for the fact that Sun Tai was sent away by the giant demon clan ancestor's bloodline power, then with Sun Tai controlling it, the demonic child wouldn't have been trapped. The origin of this demonic child was great. To talk about the origin of this demonic child, we first have to talk about the Corpse Sect. The Corpse Sect is a very large sect. It is not something any sect on planet Suzaku can compare to. In fact, there are branches of the Corpse Sect in many planets. The Corpse Sect is a very large organization with roots in many different cultivation planets. They are involved in the trade of bodies and collecting items of mysterious origins. Very few people know where the headquarters of the Corpse Sect is located because this is a secret. The structure of the Corpse Sect is like a tower. There are many different levels. Inside the Cultivation Alliance, the Corpse Sect is one of the few recognized as an official sect. Compared to all the various sects on the many cultivation planets, the Corpse Sect is one of the few real sects of the current era. A lot of older generation cultivators know that you can't casually mess with the Corpse Sect. It is said that the person behind the Corpse Sect has some connection with the collapse of the celestial realm. However, this is only a rumor. No one knows if it's true or false. But no matter what, there is no need to question just how powerful the Corpse Sect is. In every Corpse Sect branch, there is a sect master and a head elder. The sect master is responsible for managing the affairs of the sect, while the head elder is responsible for monitoring everything. Inside the Corpse Sect there is a jade containing information on more than 3,000 different kinds of bodies. Once one of those bodies are found, they can be exchanged for some heavenly treasures. The demonic child was something Sun Tai obtained in a desolate planet. The body of this demonic child is ranked 171 in the Corpse Sect. It has a hidden spirit root that hasn't been determined yet. It's a body created by nature to be possessed. When someone possesses it, it will develop a spirit root to match that person. Sun Tai was very happy after finding this body. He refined it for more than 1,000 years to finally create this demonic child. It even had the ability to use spells, and just the body itself was already at the mid-stage of soul transformation. The only strange thing about it was that it had to be kept inside a special formation to be nurtured and couldn't leave the formation for too long. Which was why when Sun Tai went to the celestial realm, he didn't bring the demonic child with him. After he came back, he retrieved it and planned to go to a nearby planet with a large Corpse Sect branch. He planned to exchange the body for a rank 8 soul-splitting pill to remove Ju Yi's seal. It was at that moment that Wang Lin called for him, which was why he had the demonic child to use against the giant demon clan ancestor. On this day, in a little northern flame land, 2 rays of light traveling faster than the speed of sound flew across the sky, 2 people in the front and 1 person in the back. One of the ones in the front was wearing a white robe, and under his flowing, white hair was the face of a young man. Beside this young man was a middle-aged man. His build was large and he gave off an very arrogant aura. If one looked closely, they would see that his body wasn't solid but somewhat transparent. The last person was a white-haired old man with his teeth clenched closely as he chased after them. Wang Lin was among the 3 of them. Sichuan looked back at the Forsaken Immortal clan 4th ancestor and shouted, "You're too slow, you little brat, this old man had to wait for you so many times. If you don't fly faster, this old man isn't going to wait for you." The 4th ancestor was furious. He wanted to give up many times along the way, but every time he was about to, the middle-aged man would stop to taunt him. The 4th ancestor found this very strange, but he wasn't willing to give up. He had a secret technique that he could use to take back the ancestral spirit back, but the requirement was for the ancestral spirit to not have been refined yet. This was why he kept chasing. The 3 of them were very quick. They flew to the center of the little northern flame land and entered the area of the ice flames. Wang Lin was able to immediately see the demonic child inside the red flame. Sichuan's eyes lit up. He stopped, let out a laugh, and looked back at the 4th ancestor who was quickly arriving. "Before my body was destroyed, I cultivated in this place for a very long time, so I have a very deep understanding of the restrictions here." Sichu revealed a reminiscent look as his hand formed a seal and pointed at the air. The ground immediately shook as a golden light began to gather and then it flew out. Sichuan laughed as he grabbed Wang Lin, then he moved 1,000 feet away and looked at the 4th ancestor. The moment the 4th ancestor arrived, the entire sky was covered by a white light. This white light was very bright and was carrying a mysterious power which landed on the 4th ancestor's body. Red light immediately appeared under the 4th ancestor's skin. The 4th ancestor sneered. "The blood flame light?" His Forsaken Immortal clan was native to this planet, so they had a very good understanding of this place. He was able to immediately recognize what the white light was. He waved his right hand and a giant tattoo appeared before him. The tattoo flashed and then all of the white lights were pushed away from the 4th ancestor's body. Sichuan exclaimed in surprise and his eyes became cold. He then moved as fast as lightning toward the 4th ancestor. The 4th ancestor suddenly raised his head toward Sichuan and waved his hand. The tattoo before him turned into threads which attempted to trap Sichuan. Sichuan laughed. He didn't dodge but went through these threads and directly entered the 4th ancestor's body. The 4th ancestor shouted, "Get out of there!" He slapped his forehead and a 9-leaf plant appeared on it. The moment this plant appeared, Sichuan came out of the fourth ancestor, released all of his aura, and shouted, "Nine-leaf fog." The fog surrounding the demonic child quickly flew to Sichuan, trapped the two of them, and dragged them toward the ice flame that the demonic child was trapped in. This happened very quickly. In almost an instant, Sichuan and the fourth ancestor were surrounded by the fog. A pillar of ice flame formed around each of them. At this moment there were 3 pillars of ice flame inside the 9-leaf fog. Sichuan revealed a look of joy inside the ice flame and then mysteriously came out of it. He flew into the ice flame where the demonic child was located and entered the body. Wang Lin, this 9-leaf fog is a natural formation, and it makes the perfect protection for me. It won't take long for me to recover my cultivation. I'll come find you when I'm done. You'll have to be careful of Zhuqiuzi during this time, don't die before I come out. Sichuan's voice came out from the 9-leaf fog. Wang Lin pondered a bit. He looked at the child inside the fog and asked, "You don't need me to guard you." "No need, this 9-leaf fog is the best protection." Sichuan's voice contained a trace of excitement. After tens of thousands of years, he would finally have a body again. Even though he had been through a lot in his life, he couldn't help but be excited. "Foreign cultivators, just you all wait. Once this old man recovers his cultivation, I'll definitely find you guys for my revenge." Wang Lin raised his head to look into the distance and calmly said, "You still haven't told me what the cultivation planet crystal is." Cultivation planet crystal. Before I became the ruler of a cultivation planet, I also thought that it was some powerful treasure. However, after I became the second-generation Suzaku, I found that this item was simply too vicious. This video will end here.